Well, hello. This is part 2 of the power of choice. So in the previous video, I was talking about how do you know what choice is right for you? And there's a second part to this, and I want to call it enjoying your choices. So the reality is, even if you do your damnedest to make the best choice for yourself, just the nature of reality is that things are always changing. There's always going to be an element of surprise, and things kind of fall apart. And I will say why it's so important that you make sure that there is an intention of love behind the choice that you're making. There's an intention of expansion. There's an intention of, this just feels right to me, to my soul. That will really help you so that when things start to shift, when things start to fall apart, there's still an inner commitment in you. And you can apply that. Like I know with my own business, I've been committed to this business for about 20 years. And, anyone knows, like running your own business, things fall apart. Like I did a video years ago called The Dirty Diapers of Business, right? So because there's that inner passion and commitment in the work that I do, I'm able to meet it. I'm able to handle it. I'm not going to bail. But, if you got me in an office doing some work that I can't stand, I did try to work in an office one day. I think I cried with my forehead on the keyboard after like 3 hours. You're going to bail quite quickly, and the same things go with relationships. If you're like in a relationship where both of you are like, yeah, we're in it together. When the things happen, because things happen, you're going to be willing to work through it. You're going to be willing to stay. But if there are superficial reasons to stay in a relationship, or you're doing it because you have to, or there's no other better choice, or we've got a lot of reasons why we make choices. The moment something goes awry, you're going to bail. And so making sure that that there's a deeper commitment is really important so that you can stay through the waves and the surprises. And for some of us, not all of us, there's a certain personality where no matter what choice we make, even if we take a concerted amount of time to make the choice that's right for us, some of us can have a certain wiring that no matter what choice we make, we decide that it's the wrong choice. And so when we're in it, instead of being like, oh, I've arrived, I'm going to be present with this thing that I've been preparing for, or, here I am present in the moment, we'll immediately start to go in our head, start to judge it. We'll start to judge ourselves. Oh, I made the wrong choice, again. And okay, we go into future time. Well, here are all the things that I can do in the future to make this one better. We start to defend ourselves against our environment. There's a lot of ways that our defenses come up, and I'm not going to spend this video naming them, but basically we'll do something to not be in the moment. We'll leave our body in some way, and in some way we'll attack ourselves, even in a subtle way, or attack others. And what I know for myself, because I had been raised, there was in my environment growing up, what we could call like a level of emotional or physical or mental, abuse and manipulation. The protection that we make if we've been raised in a sort of abusive situation, especially when you're a child, because you don't really get why this is happening. And so you might put in your body like, okay, it's my fault. I'm bad. I'm the one that made the wrong choice. And what can be challenging is that as you move forward in life, and even if you're creating a safe environment as you move forward and making choices that are healthy for you, there will still be the vestige of that abused personality where it's like, there's a little bit of fear. And the default will always be, no matter what situation I step into, I'm the one that's wrong. I'm at fault. And that can show up in relationships, but it also can show, what I think is so important is if you want to change the relationships with other people, look at how you're still relating to yourself. You've got bullies on the outside, I'm sure you're bullying yourself. So before you just blame everyone else, check that inner environment. So there might be a mechanism in you where you already put yourself down when you walk in. I'm already bad. This was already the wrong choice. It's a way that we prepare ourselves. I'm going to kick myself harder so that any kick on the outside that happens doesn't actually hurt me the same way. It sounds a little warped, but for those of us who have that history of abuse, that's what we do. So it's really helpful to actually realize okay, I can stop doing this. I actually don't need to make myself wrong. For my friends who are a little bit more of a perfectionist, I'm sure there's a way that you tell yourself you've always failed so that in your head, you're always aiming for something higher than. We can apply this to a few different belief systems where it's how do you put yourself down as a way to make yourself go up? I mean, it happens in coaching. I know that I had a coach once who was just an asshole to me because he knew that that's what was going to actually make me improve. So it's not uncommon, right? But that doesn't mean that we have to do it or that's the only way. There is something to be said about positive support, okay? So, can you start to positively support yourself when you make a choice? So instead of, okay, here I am, I'm in this choice, and instead of stepping out of it, instead of thinking I made the wrong choice, because for some of us, there's gonna be a compulsion. Even when it's the right choice, you'll think it's the wrong choice. And so energetically, you'll never be all in. You're always gonna be a little bit scattered. And if you wanna go forward in your life, you've gotta be all in. And the cool thing is that even the wrong choice, if you're all in, you can turn it into the right choice. I remember years ago, I showed up at this New Year's gathering. And when I stepped in, I was these are not my people. And something in my system was how am I going to survive the next 5 hours? We've all been there, right? When you're oh shit, I have no way out of this, no ride. How am I going to get through this? And it's when you don't have the option of leaving, it's how do you actually show up and actually transform the experience? And I was with people who were, for lack of better words, very straight and very conventional. My boyfriend at the time I knew was slightly embarrassed about how off or weird in his mind, strange that I am. I pick up food and I'll feel the vibration of it to see if it works for me. He thought that was strange. He would often give me lists of okay, please don't do this around these people. They're not going to know what to do. But I decided I had no other alternative but to be myself. Because if I tried to fit in and not be myself, I would disappear. So know this, if you ever try to fit in and not be yourself, that is not gonna help you. That's gonna make you disappear. Instead, I was here I am, I'm a little fuzzy, but there we go. I had, by the end of the evening, everyone sitting on the ground doing weird body movements, laughing hysterically. They're please don't leave, because I was supposed to get on a plane the next day, stay another week. We want to hang out with you. And it was such a good lesson. And I want to remind you this, I could give you so many examples of this, that if you accept yourself, when you step into a situation, other people will. If you walk into a situation and you're already there's something wrong with me, I'm not allowed here, I'm whack, I'm too different in a bad way, they're gonna feel that in your field. So you gotta step in and own it. When we were little kids, we own it, right? You wear your little cowboy boots, you got your little little alien pink sparkle stars on, you got your cape on, and you're I'm a badass, right? And somewhere along the way, we forget that we're badasses. So you got to come in and be my quirks are cool. So that's going to help you be all in. To just be here I am, and there's nothing wrong with me. I'm very adorable and cute with my quirks, okay? So that's that. The second part is that If you're just like, all right, I'm going to enjoy this choice that I made, like no matter what's gotten me here, I'm not actually getting a real answer that it's dangerous to stay, right? So I'm not saying stay in situations that are dangerous. I'm saying when you've got that little thing that no matter what choice you're in, you're like, this is the wrong choice. And you like overanalyze it and you beat yourself up and you go up in your head. No. Just find out, how can I be here and really enjoy it? And from there, life will be like, sweet, she's here. All right, I'm going to take her on a ride, we're going to actually have a wave here. Because that part of you that might think, go into regret, should have done something else, that's going to cut your energy off. That's going to take you from being in and moving forward to splitting your energy. And the universe is like, I don't know where to take her, because it's like, she's not all in here. She's a little bit scattered there. So I guess I just have to scatter all this energy, but it's going to be a very topsy-turvy experience. So if you find that like, that's kind of how you live, instead of blaming the choices that you're making, look at your relationship with choices. How do I be all in? How do I enjoy the choice that I'm in? Because suddenly, once you're engaged, you're going to see things. You're going to be surprised. I found that, the other night, I was having a little bit of a rough night, and I got in the bathtub, and I watched myself, like, go into this, like, planning for the next few days, and suddenly this voice came in. One of my guides was like, can you just enjoy yourself here? And I'm like, you're right. I worked so hard to make this space, to take this bath. I'm just going to be here. Best bath of my life. Put on a little face mask, enjoy the temperatures of the cold and the hot water, enjoy, I put some ginger clay and Epsom salt in there. It was nice. So can you let yourself enjoy where you are? You've worked so hard to get there. Can you let yourself chill? Be with it, settle into it, and know that the universe has a gift for you. There are surprises that you've never been able to anticipate. You can't predict it. Yes, things fall apart, but what if they fall apart in the best way? What if, even if you're like, nothing ever goes according to plan, right? Of course not. That's not the nature of reality. But what if there's a divine plan that's way more sweet, that's way more expanded, that's way more sacred than anything you could ever have created? I'm sure you can already see that that's already been happening for you. So enjoy your choices. Let the universe take you on a ride, because there's some magic here. There's some friendliness. Let life be friendly for you. Sending lots of love. Bye.